Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Heidi and in this video we are going to learn about the Finnish levels. You might have heard about A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2. But what do these levels actually mean and how do you know in which level you belong? And why should it even matter? If you put too high skills in the CV, then you might notice in the job interview when they are interviewing you in Finnish that actually you don't understand at all or you don't understand enough and the communication is not working. Or in the real job you might be struggling because simply you are not there yet. And this is not that awful, then it just means that you need to do a little bit more practice. All right? And on the other hand, if you say that you have, for example, only A1 when you actually do have B1, well, this is quite problematic as well because you're undervaluing yourself and your skills. And if you are planning to take an official exam to demonstrate those skills for a possible employer or, for example, to apply for some studies, it's good to know already where you are at the moment because I know that many of you are aiming at the intermediate YKI test. And you are wondering, well, what is required for this test? Am I ready for this test? This video is going to help you to find out. Without further ado, let's jump into the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages website. This is held by the Council of Europe. It's a super official website. You can check it yourself. I will leave the link below. You can see that you have different languages here. The requirements are still the same, but this is just for you to read in your own language if that's more convenient for you, to see what are the requirements, what are the teachers and the testers looking at when they are deciding whether you have intermediate level, beginner level, or advanced level. For the sake of this video and for the sake of understanding, we are going to use English, and let's look at the different global scale that is used for evaluating Finnish language skills and also for all other language skills. So if you are studying some other language, the same idea and same logic work there as well. So that's why it's so important to be familiar with the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, also called CEFR, because that helps you to really know where you are in your language learning and to set realistic goals. Okay, well, up here you can see proficient user C2 and C1. The C2 level is the highest possible level you can ever get in any language. This means you are completely fluent and you can express yourself virtually in every situation and you virtually understand everything you hear or read in that language. This is normally what highly educated people have in their mother tongue. All right, I want to highlight this, that this is not the same as having this as your mother tongue. You can have C2 level in your mother tongue, but not necessarily. Not all people even reach C2 in their mother tongue. If they've never gone to the university or some higher education, or if they have not been training their knowledge about complex language and complex texts, they might not reach this level, especially in writing. Okay? It's just reality. If we put all people together to take some official language test of C2 in their mother tongue, not even everybody would pass. Okay? So this is to set realistic expectations for you as a language learner. You do not have to reach C2. You can, and it's really admirable if you do. It's completely possible because it's about structure. It's about understanding subtle nuances of the language. Okay? You can express yourself spontaneously, very fluently and precisely, differentiating finer shades of meaning even in more complex situations. Most of you learners don't need C2. C1 is also considered completely fluent speaker and completely fluent learners. Most of you maybe who have gone to the university and studied in English, although if English would not be your mother tongue, most likely you are in C1 level. People at C1 level can understand a wide range of demanding longer texts and recognize implicit meaning. They can express themselves fluently and spontaneously without much obvious searching for expressions. So notice, this is what fluency is already. You do not have to get to C2 to be fluent. And you can use the language in academic and professional purposes as well. Okay, and you are clear and well structured in explaining different subjects, and you are showing controlled use of organizational patterns, connectors, and cohesive devices. During my many years of teaching Finnish, I have seen some students who reach C1 level. There have been several of them, but this is not so common because it takes normally years and years of practice and a lot of immersion. The good news is you don't necessarily need to get to C1 to be able to use it at work and in your everyday life. Now, let's see what the intermediate level is about. In the intermediate level, we have B2 and B1. B2 is the higher of these two. And at B2 level, you can understand the main ideas of complex text on both concrete and abstract topics. Notice, main ideas, not necessarily everything. But this also includes some technical discussions in his or in her field of specialization. So notice that you can already manage in your field, even though it would be quite abstract and quite complicated at B2 level. You are already pretty much fluent at this level. So can interact with a degree of fluency and spontaneity that makes regular interaction with native speakers quite possible without strain for either party. So if you can already manage pretty much in all walks of life with native speakers of that language, now if we are talking about Finnish, if you can manage with Finns in everyday life and in talking about your job and you understand nearly everything they are saying, or at least you are not having a lot of difficulty in those interactions and they can understand you, you might be already at B2 level. Then when we talk about writing, at this level, you can produce clear and detailed text on a wide range of subjects and explain a viewpoint on a topical issue, giving the advantage and disadvantages of various options. When we are talking about the YKI test, most of you are aiming at the intermediate level. And that intermediate level includes B1 and B2. Notice that B2 requires quite a lot. Then at B1, you can understand the main points of clear standard input on familiar matters regularly encountered in work, school, leisure, etc. If you are at B1, you can still pass YKI test pretty well. Okay, because you can understand the main points of standard input. You can understand most people when they are speaking at a normal speed. You at least get the main idea. And you can produce simple connected text on topics which are familiar or of personal interest. At this level, it's not expected yet that you can talk about everything and on very complex topics, but you should be able to produce coherent text. This is what YKI tests as well, that you can connect simple sentences, you can connect ideas, use connectors, and explain yourself in daily topics pretty well. For example, you can describe experiences and events, dreams, hopes, and ambitions, and briefly give reasons and explanations for opinions and plans. If you are able to do this pretty well in Finnish, you might be already at B1 level. Congratulations! Then let's go to the basic levels. The basic users at A2 and at A1 level. These are beginner students or beginner language users. And most people belong to this group because they start their language study, but they might not need to continue for that long, or they become disencouraged, or for some other reasons they don't have time to study, or many reasons why people might not reach the intermediate level and the higher levels. What I really want you to think with this video is, what is my goal? What is my ultimate goal in learning Finnish, right? It's not just to speak Finnish, because speaking Finnish or learning Finnish or knowing Finnish, all of those are very vague. They don't really tell much about what is really your goal. A real goal would be like, what can I do with the language, right? And that already gives you an idea. Okay, at A1, you can understand sentences and frequently used expressions related to areas of most immediate relevance. This means that you can, for example, understand very basic personal and family information related to shopping, local geography, employment, and so on. You can communicate in simple and routine tasks requiring a simple and direct exchange of information on familiar and routine matters. I would say that at beginner level, still you are mainly communicating what you have like around you, what you have in your life, what you're doing, what you're not doing, and so on. So it's not like so general language use yet. It's more self-focused and more focused on the immediate life that you are living. And then the most basic level, A1. Here you can understand and use familiar everyday expressions and very basic phrases aimed at the satisfaction of needs of a concrete type. You might not be able to form many full sentences yet, or many more complex full sentences yet properly, but you can, for example, introduce yourself. You can tell about yourself in simple ways, introduce your personal information, your age, your profession, what you normally do during the day, and so on. You can also talk about things that you have or don't have, or you can talk about the people who you know and who you meet in your life. So it's a simple way of interacting, and you understand other people when they speak slowly and clearly. But you still need a lot of help from the other speaker in order to be able to understand what they are saying. When it comes to Finnish, we also have something more concrete still for different levels. If you go to Aalto-yliopisto, so Aalto University's website, here you also have more detailed descriptions for the beginner and intermediate levels. You might have heard A1.1, A1.2, and so on. What do they mean? Well, here you have, for example, in the most beginner level, A1.1, kielitaidon alkeiden hallinta, the control of basic language skills. For example, a couple of learned phrases. Esimerkiksi muutamia opittuja fraaseja. A1.2. Kehittyvä alkeiskielitaito. Esimerkiksi yksinkertainen viestiminen aivan perusasioista. For example, basic communication about immediate basic things. A1.3. Toimiva alkeiskielitaito. Esim. Sosiaalisen kanssakäymisen perusta. This is already functioning basic language skills, and this is the foundation for social communication. Then we have A2.1, so now we are in the second ladder of the CEFR. So if we come here, we are here now, A2. A2.1, peruskielitaidon alkuvaihe. Esim. Laajempi kyky sosiaaliseen kanssakäymiseen ja perusasioista viestintään. The first stage of basic language skills, and here we have already wider ability to social interactions and communicating basic things. I also want to show you this PDF where you can see more precisely what the teachers and examiners look at when they are defining what language level you are at. This is fully in Finnish, so I understand this might be hard to follow. I will leave the link also in the description. I'm just going to give you a few examples, all right? So here you can see A1.1, A1.2, and so on. All those things that I just showed you, but opened up even more. This is also what I use as a reference when I have to define the level for someone. Honestly, I do not like having to define the language level so tightly. I prefer this general CEFR scale because I think this is enough, and this is what most language exams also follow. But this other scale is for like more in-detail analysis, right? I honestly don't think this is so necessary in most cases. I suppose that many experts thought that this is necessary because Finnish is a quite complex language and there's so much information right in the beginning that you have to learn to be able to even advance to the intermediate level, that it is helpful for the examiners and the teachers to understand where you are right now in the process and let's say how far you are from the intermediate level. Here you have also all the different categories: kuullun ymmärtäminen, listening comprehension, puhuminen, speaking, luetun ymmärtäminen, the reading comprehension, and kirjoittaminen, the writing analyzed. Very useful for examiners and also for you if you are wondering what is expected of you. So A2 is analyzed here. B1. This is something I wanted to show you. B1. Toimiva peruskielitaito, which means literally functioning basic language knowledge. For example, when it comes to the reading comprehension, it says pystyy lukemaan monenlaisia muutaman sivun pituisia tekstejä. Can read various types of texts of a few pages length. Taulukot, kalenterit, kurssiohjelmat, keittokirjat. Tables, calendars, course programs, cooking books as examples. Tutuista aiheista, of familiar topics. Ja seuraamaan tekstin pääajatuksia, avainsanoja ja tärkeitä yksityiskohtia myös valmistautumatta. And you are able to follow the main ideas of the text, keywords and important details without preparation. Really important knowledge if you're taking YKI. This is what you should be able to do at least. When it comes to listening comprehension, for example, it says ymmärtää pääajatukset ja keskeisiä yksityiskohtia puheesta, joka käsittelee koulussa, työssä tai vapaa-aikana säännöllisesti toistuvia teemoja, mukaan lukien lyhyt kerronta. Tavoittaa radiouutisten, elokuvien, TV-ohjelmien ja selkeiden puhelinviestien pääkohdat. This means understands the main ideas and central details about speech that is about school, work, and free time, including short telling. Okay, so if someone's telling about school, work, or free time, then you are able to get the main idea about those things. And catches the main things of radio news, movies, TV series, and clear phone messages. This is already quite a lot. Many students struggle with these things before they are taking YKI. If you are still unsure whether you are ready for YKI or you would need some professional guidance towards YKI, feel free to check out the link that I have left under this video. I hope that this video gave you better understanding on the different language levels and what is expected of you as a student when you are taking language exams? What is your Finnish language level at the moment? And what is your goal? Let me know in the comments. Moi moi!